Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and now that my two informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness world. But first I want to thank everyone for the happy birthday wishes. I turned 41 yesterday. I had an enormous number of happy birthdays on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, everything else. So thank you guys. I am still stuck. My stomach is still like stuck out from my birthday feast last night. I didn't get my dinner till like 10:30. Because I had to wait on Brittany to finish work and everything, and so we went out and I ended up eating a 24-ounce ribeye, those gains. And I just did some extra cardio this morning to help with that. So it all balances out in the end. But you know what, let's talk about David Harbour. Let me put on my +5 out of weaponsmithing, work on skilling at my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. Now, it's no shock that I'm a fan of comic book movies. I'm wearing a Punisher shirt right now. You see that in strength athletes. We see that in a lot of strength athletes. You see a lot of gaming nerds and a lot of comic book nerds in strength sports, whether it's powerlifting, strongman, weightlifting, whatever. Strength sports and nerds tend to go hand in hand. It's been that way a long time. Particularly people who are big comic book fans. You go to a powerlifting meet, you're going to see more comic book tattoos than anything, other than maybe Star Wars tattoos. You see a lot of those too. But David Harbour, you know what? I'm not shocked. I'm a big fan of the Hellboy movies. I really like the franchise. I think it's fantastic. I think Ron did a great job as Hellboy. And, you know, they picked David Harbour. Well, I actually really like Stranger Things. I think it's a great show. One of the best shows in the last year to come out. I've watched both seasons so far. Fantastic show. David, of course, plays the sheriff, Sheriff Hopper in that show. And, you know, when I look at it, it's like, people are like, man, he's kind of out of shape. Not really. He had a bit of a beer gut. But he actually, you could tell that he lifted. He didn't start from nothing. He had a little bit of a muscle base started already. So it's clear that he has lifted a bit in the past. You know, body composition wasn't fantastic. But, you know, that's why you have these celebrity trainers to make these transformations. But as far as the role itself goes, before I jump into the training, I think Harbour can pull this off. And I think just because of the demeanor that he had in Stranger Things, I think kind of just that serious demeanor in his facial expressions, I think as long as he brings out the sarcasm that we expect from Hellboy, I think he's going to make a pretty good Hellboy. I'm stoked. I'm definitely going to watch it. I think he's a good choice. I think he's a good choice for the role. And I can say in some cases people aren't always good choices for some of these comic book character roles. I think Harbour's going to be a good one. I think this was a solid choice. So what's interesting when you start looking at the training, because someone linked me a video showing some of the training, and he's obviously doing a few different things. There's a little bit of fluff and pump, but there's also some real work going on. And I did a little digging, and his trainer apparently has him doing 5x5s on the big barbell movements. Well, you guys know how I feel about that, because my most famous free program is a 5x5 barbell-based program. Why? Because it works. That's one of the fastest ways to bulk up a novice lifter, to take someone who really needs to build a base as quickly as possible. 5x5 programs with strict linear progression using barbells is one of the fastest ways to stack on size. It really is. And all this fluff and pump you see people doing in the gym, and there was a little bit of that in some of the training footage. That stuff doesn't matter. That's done sometimes just by trainers, because one, bodybuilders do it, and two, just so that people can feel like they're getting more work in. But when you look at the meat and potatoes of it, he's got him doing 5x5s on benches, 5x5s on deadlifts. He's got him doing kettlebell squats. I don't know about the kettlebell squats, and then doing like kettlebell weighted carries. That's what it's claiming in the articles. But then we look at what he's doing. He's got him pushing a prowler, got him doing a little bit of extra list cardio. You know, that's kind of the best way to recomposition one of these guys. That's a good way to recomp somebody. Focusing on a handful of big barbell movements, and it looked like from the footage that he's working with the 225 on the bench. That's what I expect. What do I tell you guys? At the end of my 5x5, I want to see guys benching 225 for 5 sets of 5, right? And I want to see you deadlifting 405 pounds for 5 reps. Well, you couldn't count because of the smaller plates in the footage that's up, but it looks like he's past 400 pounds on the deadlift. And it looks like he's working with 225 on the bench. Okay, so this is going to work. I think it's going to work out. Now, they're in filming now. So I'm pretty sure he's made a good transformation. Then you look at the other stuff he's doing. What I always tell you guys, recomping, particularly for us older guys like me who tend to gain body fat easy, doing all that extra list cardio so that you can eat more carbs is useful for recomping. I just covered that earlier today talking about that. All right, so he's got him doing conditioning work that way, list cardio, then he's got him doing weight resistance style conditioning GPP work, because we see those prowler pushes and we see weighted carries. Now they're calling them suitcase carries. We all know them as their farmer's walks. So they're called in the strength training world. You know what? That's two of the most effective forms of GPP you can do. So when you start looking at the meat and potatoes of what this trainer is having him do for this transformation, I mean, this is what you would expect. This is how you would get somebody into shape quickly. Getting strong, moderately heavy weight, moderate volume on big barbell exercises. In this case, things like the bench press, the deadlift, right? Big barbell exercises. Throwing in a little bit of isolation work, it looks like, just to fill in weak points. Doing general physical preparedness for the conditioning, the calorie burn, and again, sometimes extra anabolic stimulus. Sometimes you can get a little bit of an anabolic threshold reached, especially if it lets you eat more calories, by doing stuff like this. Again, the prowler pushes and farmer's walks are probably two of the best general physical preparedness things ever invented. As a complement to your weight training, especially if you're focusing mainly on the strength end, the strength side of the weight training, that GPP work can really help bridge that gap, give you a little more metabolic fatigue, improve your conditioning, help you recomp, help you burn body fat off faster. And then he's got him doing cardio. I mean, there's your key to success. He's got him on a lot of calories, a high protein diet. But again, the food is high. The food is kept really high. The physical activity is kept high. And you have someone who had a little bit of a base already started, who probably was a little squishy, needed to gain some muscle, needed to lose a little bit of the extra padding, that gut, but he had a decent base already. And I think the training that they're putting him through, yeah, that's definitely going to work. But here's your take home from that, guys. Anyone who watches this, I mean, if you want to know how to transform, if you're seeing these actors make transformations, yeah, there's usually a bit of drugs involved. There tends to be. But that just lets them do it faster. That's all it does. The concepts are sound, and we're seeing right here the key to success. 5x5 barbell work, general physical preparedness, list cardio, lots of food. Again, some of these actors are expected to do this in 3 to 6 months. But a lot of people out there, maybe people who are fans of comic books who are watching this, or fans of David Harbour, if you see that, that's how you transform. That's how you do it. And if you're consistent with it, no, you might not make that actor's transformation in the 3 to 6 months, because they have the best chefs, the best trainers. They sometimes have some pharmaceutical help. But if you're willing to be consistent with that and follow a strong, solid barbell-based program like that, willing to do the cardio, willing to do the GPP, willing to put the food in, you might not do it in the 3 to 6 months, but what about a year? What about a year and a half? What about 2 years? All right? You stay consistent with something like that for 2 years, and I promise you, you're going to look like a completely different person, and nobody's going to recognize you anymore. So, you know, we know that this style of training works. I'm going to be curious to see the finished product. I mean, there's going to be some CGI and stuff involved. There's going to be some makeup involved. But I think we're going to see good results. And that's kind of the thing for the older guys like us. I'm 41 now. David, I think, is like, what is he, like 41, 42? All right, for us older guys, we need to be taking a look at this. Not all the silly fluff and pump. Not all these silly cable curls and cable chest work and all this stuff. Get in and do some big barbell work. Get in and do some conditioning work. Full range of motion, heavy strength-based exercises with good form. Because look at what they had him doing. They've got him doing beltless deadlifts. Beltless deadlifts with heavy weight. I love that. Love it. Something I am a big proponent of, that I do myself. I think that's kind of almost the foundation of your training. If you really want to get big and strong at the same time, you want to get fast results, things like the beltless deadlifts, other big barbell movements to go with it. That's how you do it, guys. And again, it works for us older guys. And we're about to see a transformation of a guy in his early 40s. So middle-aged guys, pay attention to what's going on. What you're seeing there and a lot of the training you're seeing is exactly what I've been telling you guys for years. For years. Now, if it can work for David Harbour, it can work for you. It can work for you too. So this is not just for the kids. This is a middle-aged guy. Right? This is a middle-aged guy starting out with a bit of a beer gut. All right? And he's going to pull this transformation off because they're already in filming now, so we know he's already done it, or he wouldn't be in filming. So we'll see what happens with the movie. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.